I'm Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded for Friday Night SmackDown, where I take a look at the show segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. This week we have the final first round matches in the vacant Intercontinental Championship tournament. We also have that lovely mixed tag between Otis, Mandy, Dolph and Sonya as well. So without any further ado, let's crack on with it. Hit the intro. So we start things off this week with the dirt sheet, and Miz and Morrison decide they're going to spend some time talking about Otis, running him down as the winner of the Money in the Bank tournament. I think Morrison even calls him Mr. Honey Glazed Ham rather than Mr. Money in the Bank. Miz says that it's not Otis's fault though. Otis isn't really to blame here. It's the people that enable him, people like Braun Strowman. Miz says that Braun doesn't deserve the title. In fact, when he left the Wyatt family, he was replaced by puppets in the Firefly Funhouse. They then divert their attention to Bray and the Funhouse and come up with some puppet ideas, including one that just farts a lot and is like a dirty nappy. Peak Vince McMahon, that. They then poke fun at Mandy and they're cut off by Braun's music. Braun storms down to the ring and he's like, "Thanks for having me on, boys." And they're like, "We didn't invite you." He says that he wants to talk about Bray, and Miz cuts him off. Miz essentially runs down his experiences with Bray and how Bray isn't somebody to be sort of brushed aside in the way that Braun has. Morrison then runs Braun down, says that Miz is better than him any day of the week. Braun sees this as a challenge and demands a referee. Miz looks really angry at Morrison. I'm going to give this a B+. Miz and Morrison were great as usual, and then Braun coming down, despite the fact it felt a bit mishmash and just stuck together, Braun coming down led to some nice continuation there with the Bray storyline. Maybe Bray isn't done with Braun yet. Maybe Braun is being foolish, thinking that that was, the line under it. But anyway, when we come back from the break, we've of course got Miz versus Braun. Referee in the ring, and he's raring to go. So Miz tries to put some distance between him and Braun because you don't want to be within grabbing distance of him. And that's exactly what happens here. Braun powers him into the corner, starts laying in the strikes. Miz is pretty much out on his feet. I think he stumbles into the ropes, accidentally low bridges Braun, and then on the outside Morrison's able to get a cheeky kick in while the referee's back's turned. After Miz runs Braun into the post, we get back in the ring. Miz is in firm control here until Braun powers out. I think he drops Miz, he drops Morrison, who's on the apron, and then he hits the running power slam and picks up the win. As Braun's leaving as well, Morrison gets on the mic. He demands a handicap match at Backlash because he doesn't think that Braun will be able to take both of them at once. I'm going to give this one a C. It was a means to an end, but when you remove it from the promo, it just felt like a random, mismatched match. It was pretty straightforward. It's exactly the outcome that everybody will have been expecting. It's just one of those matches. Next up, we have the third first round match for the Intercontinental Championship tournament, and it pits AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown. This is going to be mental. This one starts with both guys jostling for control. AJ's the guy that comes out on top though. He grounds Nakamura and he avoids any return fire. Both guys then just start trading blows and Nakamura's coming out on top before we head to the break. When we get back as well, it's very much the same, and then it's all of a sudden announced that AJ Styles is part of SmackDown. Now he's moved across because I think they suggested that Raw has a pick at future prospects, but wild card's back, baby. Yeah. But very quickly after that, there's a Pele kick, and that leads to a double down. But right after that, there's a Pele kick, there's a double down, and then they power up into just trading more and more strikes. AJ locks in the calf crusher to no avail. He is on it here. Whenever Nakamura is grounded, he's straight back up and just on top of him. Apply the pressure, don't let him get any breathing space. Very smart from AJ Styles here. Eventually, Nakamura goes for the Kinshasa. Styles catches him, rolls through, and then Nakamura locks in a triangle hold, and Styles is somehow able to lift Nakamura in the triangle hold, position him into a Styles clash, and nail him with it. There's then a little bit more back and forth with a huge phenomenal forearm picking up the win for AJ. AJ Styles advances to the second round of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. I'm going to give this one an A. It was a super strong showing from both of these guys here. They know each other inside out. This was far and away from all the classic ball punching and kicking. It was really nice. The desperation toward the end was classic between these two, and it was a really, really strong reminder this match of just how good Shinsuke Nakamura is. That sheen may have been stripped off him, but Jesus, just give him 10-15 minutes and he can go. We then go to Bayley and Sasha backstage, and they're sort of talking. Sasha's saying, I've got a plan for tonight. I know what we're going to do. And Bayley's like, sorry, I really don't think it's wise for you to be at ringside tonight. I want to prove that I can beat her one-on-one. People are starting to say all sorts of things like, you're helping me with my matches. I don't want that. I want to beat her fair and square. Sasha's a little bit hurt by this, but I think she understands. And then next up, it's Charlotte versus Becky, champion versus champion, and it's going to be a pretty intense one. Charlotte spends a great deal of the opening phase of this match just mouthing off. I think she immediately grounds her the second the bell rings, and she's just slagging her off to her face. It's class. With them both being heels, there's a nice moment where Bayley goes really early on for like a rope-assisted cheap pin. Charlotte catches that, referee catches it, and then Charlotte goes for the exact same pin back on Bayley. Charlotte sends Bayley to the floor, Bayley sweeps Charlotte's leg, Charlotte cracks her head on the apron, and then Charlotte just dumps Bayley into the audience before mouthing off on commentary. She's like, I want Sasha Banks down here, but Bayley's in the audience. Referee's going like 7, 8, 9, and then we go to ad break. So it's like, what's going to happen? He's at 9. We come back from the ad break, and they're just wrestling again. Bayley must have somehow just magicked herself back into the ring. So Sasha's still backstage. She hasn't bothered coming out. Charlotte goes for her moonsault. She tweaks her knee on the landing. The referee puts a bit of distance between to make sure she's all right, but Bayley's straight in there after it the second she can. There's a little bit more on the outside, and then back in the ring, Bayley really dials up the aggression. She's really trying to put a stop to Charlotte. She's like trying to choke her. Charlotte lifts her up, hits her with a fall-away slam, Joe Hendry, local hero. And as we're approaching the end, there's a really nice neck breaker into like a driving throw into the turnbuckle from Charlotte to Bayley. That was great. There's a moonsault attempt from Charlotte, followed by an elbow attempt from Bayley. Bayley meets the knee. She goes for the elbow again, but Charlotte kicks out. There's then a proper strong-style trading of chops with Charlotte demanding Bayley hit her and then giving her a receipt in kind. And then there's like a cheeky roll-through from Bayley, and she uses the ropes. She picks up the win. I'm going to actually give this one an A-. It was really nice to see Bayley here with the chains off. She was able to just go for it. I think we've forgotten how good a wrestler she is. She's been used in quite a limited way recently with her being a heel champion, throwing a friend under the bus. So this was nice. The fact that she can only pick up a messy win here as well without Banks really adds to the cracks that are forming around them both. After the match, we go backstage. Sasha congratulates Bayley. She's like, oh my god, like this is amazing. And then Bayley's like, wait, did you not even think that I could beat her? And she tries to pass it off as a joke, but you know that it's not a joke. And next up, we have Sonya and Dolph. Boo those bastards against Mandy and Otis. Otis and Dolph start off on this one with Otis dominating. Ziggler can barely stand up. He manages to crawl all the way back to Sonya, tags her in, which forces Mandy to get into the ring. As those two are going at it, Ziggler attacks Otis. This ends with Ziggler getting thrown and Otis falling into the ring steps. Then it all breaks down. Mandy comes out to check on Otis. She's like, are you okay? Otis is like, get back in the ring. And we go to break. Back from the break, Mandy did get back in the ring because she's getting thoroughly beaten down by Sonya. Sonya's laying in these brutal kicks on Mandy. They're like just hollow, dull thuds, but eventually Mandy is able to put enough space there, climb to Otis, and get the hot tag. Otis then gets in, takes it straight to Dolph, just smashing him in the corner repeatedly. He goes, or he's about to go for the Caterpillar. He's starting to get hyped and he's jiggling for justice and all of that stuff. And then, yeah, like Sonya tags herself in and cuts it all short, giving us all blue balls. We all wanted to see that Caterpillar, and you ruined it. So Mandy tags in, bosses it, keeps the heat on Sonya as Otis and Dolph start brawling around the outside of the ring. Looks like they're brawling toward the back. Sonya then hits the running knee, picks up the win. Horrible, horrible Sonya, after what she's done, picks up the win. Otis rushes back to the ring to check on Mandy, and then Ziggler rolls in and super kicks him as well, for good measure. I hate them so much. Why can't they just let them be happy? I'm going to give this one a B+. It was everything it needed to be without going too far. Everybody shone in it, and you know what? It's criminal that this isn't taking place in front of an audience. There were so many moments in that match, especially with Mandy and Sonya going out, where you could just feel that a crowd would have been really, really behind that, and it sucks. The other thing to note is that this isn't getting boring. This is fresh, and it's been going on for months, which is alien if you've been watching WWE like in the modern age. Like, it just doesn't seem to happen. So hopefully we can keep this going. Eventually it's going to have to be Mandy versus Sonya, but I think, we just get as much out of it as possible, but in this way. Let's not let's not ruin it. Backstage, we have Jeff Hardy, who's hyping his match tonight with Sheamus. He says that he wants to win the IC belt. It would be good for him to come full circle. It was the first belt that he won on his own, and he feels that after everything he's been through, it would be a crowning moment for him. There's a quick Forgotten Sons promo, same as last week, has the disclaimer. I'll just read out what they said. They say that they've been through some dark times, but they're fine with it now. Their blood is on our hands, so it's only fair for our blood to be on theirs. And real quick, before we go to the main event, there's a little bit here with Miz and Morrison being approached by Renee backstage. She asks them about Backlash. She's like, are you ready for the challenge? She says that Braun's beaten you guys pretty definitively already. Like, are you sure you're going to be able to do this? And Morrison's pretty adamant that Braun's not going to be able to handle both of them at once. And now it's time for our main event. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, the final match in round 1 of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. So bell goes, Sheamus immediately drives Jeff into the corner as Jeff tries to overpower him. He kicks him around the ring, drives him into the ropes. I think he's like stamping his face into a rope. He even picks up his face and starts taunting him, telling him to smile as he's holding him toward a camera. Jeff then sends Sheamus to the floor and the announce table, and as he's about to come off the apron and dive on him, Sheamus catches him and just launches him into the announce table, just wiping it out. It's still standing, but everything on top's gone. This goes to break, and when we get back, Jeff is still being manhandled in the ring like a kid that won't part with his dinner money. And then Sheamus just starts dropping knees across Jeff's face. The match is an absolute slaughter from Jeff's perspective here. So Jeff looks completely done, and then Sheamus brings up the alcoholism. He's like, you should have just stayed home, had it easy, you hit the bottle again. And then Jeff powers out and starts delivering strikes. This was one step too far. So Jeff fights back, he hits Whisper in the Wind, but Sheamus isn't even rocked by it. He just starts laying in repeated backbreakers over his knee as Jeff's just writhing around the ring in agony. Sheamus beats the drum, he drops Jeff, seems to be stalling, he goes to charge Jeff, Jeff sidesteps, Sheamus collides with the post. There's a little bit more on the outside, then Jeff goes for a swanton in the ring, but Sheamus gets his knees up. He hits a running knee, but he doesn't get the 3, so decides he's going to go for the brogue kick. He charges Jeff, Jeff rolls him up, and Jeff gets the pin. Jeff Hardy advances to round 2 of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. I'm going to give this one a B. It was an entertaining match, but I feel like it could have been a little bit more refined. I really enjoyed Sheamus being the bully throughout. I think it's a character that he can play very well, but the nature of him just running Jeff down, then beating him down, then running him down, then beating him down, it felt very stop-start. Overall though, it was fun, it was worth watching, and I think the right person won here. It makes sense for Jeff to advance, and it also makes sense for Sheamus to probably cost him in the next round, because I think these two are going to have a long ass feud together. But in terms of an overall grade for SmackDown this week, I'm going to give it an A-. We had strong offerings this week. We had Bayley, Charlotte, more cracks forming around Bayley and Banks. We had Sheamus, Hardy, Sheamus looking like a beast. Jeff Hardy looking like the most sympathetic character in the world. This is just great, easy. We had more stuff with Otis and Ziggler and Mandy and Sonya, and that was just great as well. But as I said, I think Sheamus is going to pop up and cost Jeff at the next round of the tournament, and then that's going to be a bigger feud moving forward. But that's it for this week's SmackDown. What did you think of the show? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you're all staying safe. I'll see you later.